Now we have been joined by our guests in the studio, Mr. Gabe Itodo, who is a relationship coach and also a counselor. He is the director of BSU Watches. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and we also have Mrs. Evelyn Itodo, the wife to Mr. Gabe Itodo. Ma'am, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Let's now kick this topic rolling. What is delayed marriage?
Delayed marriage are those factors responsible for keeping people behind in the early marriage cycle. There is an early marriage cycle and there is a late marriage cycle. So the factors that are responsible for keeping people inside the late marriage cycle are what we refer to as factors of delayed marriages.
As I told you, you may like to add up a bit to what Mr. Itodo has said.
Yes, in agreement with what he has said, I agree with him. Marrying late, especially in our African tradition, in our culture, marrying late for a lady after age 25, within age 25 to 27, I think you are late. You can regard to as late marriage. But for the guys within age 30 and 32, it's late marriage.
Mr. Itodo, you have taught a lot of young people and adults in general on relationship. In your opinion, what do you think are the causes of late marriage?
The central one is lack of preparation.
Okay.
When you are not prepared for marriage, when opportunity presents itself for you to get married, you won't take it. I notice today that many young people don't prepare themselves for marriage. Lack of preparation comes in different facets. For instance, as a single couple that you're understudying whose marriage is working, you have not drawn close to any family whose home is admirable. That is, you're not preparing yourself. You're not reading marriage books. You're not attending marriage seminars. You're not listening to marriage sermons. You may not be able to seize the opportunity when an opportunity presents itself for you to get married or get into a marriage-bound relationship. You may not be able to seize it. Lack of preparation is very key. Secondly, premarital sex.
Okay.
My experience has proven to me that many young people today are still single because they easily give in sex when they are yet to be committed. For instance, you start a relationship, what we may refer to as boyfriend and girlfriend. The young man has not even come to see your parents, not done first introduction. He has not come to see your pastor or your priest, your spiritual cover.
Mm-hmm.
And he has convinced you that you need to give him sex as a way of commitment. Or the lady tells you that she doesn't want to get married to a 1 minute man, so you have to prove yourself. So it's two-way. Some ladies demand sex from the guys, and then the moment you have sex, the law of diminishing return sets in.
Okay.
Because it's very possible that this same person you are giving sex, hoping to cement the relationship with, he may also be trying out other people. And then very unfortunately for you, you couldn't win the contest. Other persons outperformed you in bed.
Wow.
So he will look for a reason and bolt out. So I encourage anyone who is watching me today, if you have been having failed relationships, look at it. If sex has always been involved, I can assure you it's a major reason why the relationships have not been working out. Thirdly, wrong packaging. Wrong packaging from both ends. A lot of guys need to work on their packaging. Some guys don't dress well.
Okay.
They don't know how to dress for occasion. So there are a lot of ladies who could have accepted to marry them, but they don't dress well and they're not willing to be corrected. And then packaging also, under packaging, I want to bring in spoken English too, under packaging.
Okay.
Relationship is meant to enhance one another. If you don't speak good English and you are privileged to meet somebody who does that, be ready to learn. Yes, there's a case of a particular lady who was in a relationship with a guy, and the guy speaks very bad English. And whenever she tries to bring it to his notice that he should improve upon his spoken English, he gets angry. And not long after then, the relationship collapses. So, on both ends, thank God there are apps right now online that teach you how to speak good English. There are apps right now you can download them, teach you how to polish your English. Your background is not an excuse, because in this digital era, everything has been made easy. So, proper packaging, and then dress well. A lot of ladies have been deceived into to win him while you were courting will be the same way you're going to be dressing to kill other men as a married woman. So don't be amazed when your husband starts caging you inside the house, restricting your movements, and then when you're going out, he has to ask his younger brother to follow you, all of those things, because he doesn't know what you are going to do out there. So for the ladies, please, when you dress, watch out your laps, your buttocks, your breast. It should be well covered. Very, very important. And for the guys, make sure your boxers are not exposed, your chest, cover them very well. And then also under packaging, we have so how you smell, smelling good. A lot of young men are guilty of this because they hustle a lot. They don't smell good. See, Proverbs 27 verse 9 says, perfume gladdens the heart. There are many ladies who may not, on a good day, accept your proposal. But if you wear a good perfume, they could give you an opportunity. Wearing a good perfume can change a lot about. I mean, it just change. It gives you a personality. And then, contrary, body odor scares people from you. I have worked with ladies who told me that body odor smelling good.
You can imagine.
Wow.
She might have been considering saying a yes to you, but the body odor just spoils things.
That's a total turn off.
Yes, and then for the ladies, know when your hair starts smelling.
Oh my God.
Yes, don't wear one hair for too long. Odor from the hair can keep us running from you.
Oh.
Yes, let me stop here for now.
Especially in our society, where many things happen in marriage, many bad things happen in marriage. Especially if you grow up in a home where you see the father beating the mother, you see the mother struggling with stress and pain, all kind of pain, psychological pain, emotional pain, and all of that. It discourages young ladies from entering into marriage, and that leads to fear. So many people are afraid of marriage because they'll say, what? If this is what marriage is all about, then I'm done. They don't want to go and experience that same thing their mothers went through. So many people, because of fear, will not want to go into marriage. And my last point is materialism. You want to get everything before you get married. You want to achieve this, you want to achieve that. But permit me to say that if you marry a right man, a man who understands you, nothing stops you from achieving what you want to achieve. And nothing stops you from becoming what you want to become. Because I can assure you that you are in the right hand, you are in a safe hands if you marry somebody who understands you. So the aim to get everything you want is actually not an excuse
For
not getting married
on time.
On time.
Okay.
Wow. This program is really getting interesting.
It's very interesting.
The packaging aspect especially.
Wow.
Yes. So, Mr. Itodo, I'd like to ask, between the man and the woman, who is more conscious, when it comes to the issue of marriage?
Yes, it's the women, because of medical factors. All things being equal, at the age of 50, menopause sets into a woman's cycle, and she may not be able to give birth again. And then I've also interacted with a few friends of mine who are medically inclined, and they advise ladies to give birth to their children early enough, advisably before the age of 30, or at most 35. It is expected, hopefully, that a lady should have gotten married and given birth to all her children, because we have a lot of cases of fibroid come in with late marriage and all of that. So ladies get a little more jittery when age is catching up with them and they're not getting married. A 70-year-old man can get married to a 25-year-old lady. It's happening in our world today. Yes. But when a woman has hit 50, if she really has to get married, that means whoever is going to marry her is already settling for the fact that she may not have a child of her own. And that may be bad for her.
When you get married to, and you're so eager about pursuing your career, it becomes a problem to them. So some ladies feel it's okay, it's better for me to grab all I can grab at this point. the issue of having children or so. We have an IVFs now, and I think even at the age of 51 can have children, and when you carry out those artificial inseminations and have children. I don't know what your thoughts about that is.
Yeah, but IVF works with the menstrual cycle. You have to ovulate. So that means if you get into menopause, you can't, IVF will not work for you again. So that's for that. Then considering the issue of like my wife just said, exposure has made some ladies take that kind of stance. But the truth is, it will be best for a woman to build her life in her home. It's always sweet like that. All things being equal. Now, part of why a woman's name changes when she gets married is because many things about her are just about starting. So I used to say, very humorously, I know most ladies don't like this. If you are supposed to live for 80 years and you get married at age 25, so your father took care of you for the first 25 years of your existence, and then your husband completed the rest for the remaining 55 years thereabout. So it means your life actually started when you got into your husband's house, because you lived for the most part of your life in his house.
Yes.
So you change your name and then you start bearing your name. That's why I don't recommend ladies retaining their maiden names in marriage.
Why?
Yes, I just told you why. Because your father has finished playing his role. Your husband is now the turn of your husband. A woman's father completes his assignment in her life on the day he hands her over for marriage, either traditionally or in church, for instance. They will ask, who gives this woman away? Then the man will come, the father of the bride will come and hand her over to the church, and then the church takes her hand and hands her over to the husband. It means from this moment on, Mr. Father, you have finished playing your life, your role. Let this man take his. And the husband will be more conscious of his responsibilities when the woman is bearing his own name down.
Oh. Is there anything wrong in using your father's name and then your husband's name?
Well, if it's a compound name, I may allow that on condition that you discuss that before you got married and your husband was okay with it.
Okay.
Yes. Some people don't discuss that. They get married and just expect their husband to allow them, particularly celebrities. If you're a celebrity watching me, if you're a celebrity watching me, I know most of you don't like dropping your father's name. And I've investigated and I found out that the reason why a lot of you do that is because you're not sure you're married you last. Yes, I'm telling you this. Go and check. The reason why most celebrities don't drop their father's name, they don't adopt their husband's name, it's because they are not sure their husbands will last.
A campus ministry, you agree with me that education is very important among young ladies, and most ladies pursue their career after their first degrees. Do you think the men are intimidated by career women, like they are scared of marrying women who are successful?
Now, I usually recommend that before couples get married, they should have some intimate discussions. They should have intimate discussions with one another where they discuss all these issues. I have one of my teachings where I titled it 5 questions to ask before you marry.
Okay.
If you discuss with your, will you allow me pursue my education up to a master's or a PhD level? Those things are very important. Discuss that before you accept to marry any man, so that there will be no case of allegation that there was a renege in an agreement that you had before you got married. Ask your husband, I'm a career person, I desire to own a school, and because I want to own a school, I would study up to PhD level in education so I can own the license to be a proprietor of the school. Discuss that with him. Will you be okay with that? And talk about even number of children. This is where it comes in. Because I desire to pursue an active career, I don't intend to have more than 2 children. Then we can adopt 3 more. Are you okay with that? Those things should be discussed. When they are discussed, there will be no problem. Every man who has those clarifications before he marries will not be intimidated by the success of his wife. Okay. Because you know that whatever accolade your wife receives comes to you, you're the head.
Mr. Itodo, I was actually waiting for you to mention some key factors of delayed marriage.
the challenges. You know, we have problem of choice, which is selection. We also have freedom, problem of freedom. You know, a man would want to be tied up with only one woman, and a lady would want to be tied up with only one man. And the man is actually afraid of losing the bad boy in him. So in that situation, how do you handle it?
It's actually true that some people are stuck in delayed marriage for indecision. And for those of you who are in that category, I would want to say it's a good decision.
Good decision?
Yes.
Oh,
in the sense that
how is it good?
they are deciding not to get married for fear of marital infidelity. You know, a lot of people are married now, but they're not faithful. Like you said, they don't want to lose the bad boy, so they are married and they're still doing the bad boy thing even in marriage. So for those ones who are not yet married because they are not sure of being able to, they know they can't, they don't have what is needed to keep to one woman yet.
Oh.
It's a very good reason, but it's not advisable. I'll be faithful to one woman, but it's not a good reason. Yeah. So at this point, I would like to come in my capacity as a pastor. I'd like to advise them to seek spiritual help. If you notice you have a problem with keeping, the reason why you are still single, the reason why you are still not married is because you are afraid you're not able to stick to one woman or stick to one man. Seek spiritual help. We can give you counsel, we will help you, and both pre-wedding counseling and then even in marriage, we can still help you through, help you to be faithful to one spouse, to your spouse.
Okay.
I have so much love on Mr. and Mrs. Itodo. We enjoy their conversation, but I need a clarification on one thing. I want to know in the situation whereby some people will be in the courtship at their youthful age, and one among them will be intending to have married at that time, but one will say, I don't want to marry at this time and I need a child. I think you are getting me. So I don't know how in that situation, how are you going to tell us to understand the more about the late marriage and the early marriage?
Yes, according to God's ordinance, couples should have children only after they are married. So no matter how popular it is becoming today, this baby mama syndrome and all of that, no matter how popular it is becoming today, it is not right. Yes, because you would have children who may almost. So let us discipline ourselves to wait to have children only when we've been legally joined together, we've been authentically joined together, either in the court, traditionally, or in the church. So if anybody who is not ready to have children should not go into relationship, because eventually a married bound relationship should produce children. And if you want to have children, then you wait till you get married. So no matter how popular it is becoming today, it is wrong, and I condemn that in totality.